Hey guys, what's going on? It's time for the hold on. No. This is not gonna cut it. It's not the right attire nor the right background for my best of the year video, so give me one moment. That's more like it. Yesterday, you guys saw my top 10 worst films of 2021. I'm really happy you enjoyed that video, but for today, this is the video I look forward to doing all year. And do not get me wrong, I love doing my top 10 worst films of the year. I love destroying a movie that I absolutely hate. But let's be real, guys. I love it when I see a great film. I love gushing about a film, especially when it drives my buddy Gary nuts like this. Shut up! Gary, let me buddy just say. Since it's New Year's Eve, I am here to talk to you all about my top 10 favorite movies of 2021. These are the films that brought me joy, laughs, emotion. Every single one of these films I wanted to rewatch the moment I got back, or there were the films I wanted to go back to the movie theater to rewatch all over again. Before I continue on, a couple of guidelines as usual. First of which being this: I have not seen every single film that came out this year, and like with my top 10 best of 20, not best, this is my best. Like with my top 10 worst films of 2021, if you guys want me to wait until I saw every single film that came out this year, let's be real, this list would be delayed for a long time. Second of which is this. This is my list. This is my subjective list of the films that I love. These may not be technically the best films of the year, but these are the films that after I got out, I just went, God, I love movies. Third and final, let's have a great time gush with the films that we, or in this case, I absolutely loved from the year 2021. Before I get into my top 10 favorite movies of 2021, I do have a couple of honorable mentions because here's the thing, guys. Contrary to a lot of people may think, I thought this was a pretty good year for films. There was a lot of great sequels, great IP, and some films that came out of nowhere. I mean, some films this year definitely made me go like, holy crap, that was better than I expected. Before I get into my top 10 favorite films of 2021, let's get into my honorable mentions, and they are starting with Ghostbusters Afterlife, Free Guy, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, The Last Duel, In the Heights, Belfast, Spider-Man No Way Home. I know that's gonna cause a lot of uproar. Trust me, I'm well aware of that. Mass, and this one almost made it. Billie Eilish, The World's a Little Blurry. With all of that being said, it's time to get into my top 10 favorite movies of 2021. Let's get it on! Number 10. Kicking off my top 10 list at my number 10 is my favorite anime movie of the year, and that is Raya and the Last Dragon. This was a movie that I walked in, or in this case streamed, not knowing anything about this movie. I didn't see a single trailer. I blindly watched this film, and I actually did pay the $30 premiere price for Disney Plus. It was absolutely worth every single penny. This movie was charming, whimsical, full of emotion, beautiful, full of adventure. It felt like that I was watching a classic Disney movie just in the modern age. The animation is absolutely beautiful. James Newton Howard's score is the chef's kiss. Beautiful, breathtaking action sequences. It went into directions I definitely was not expecting whatsoever. Best of all, a lot of the time this movie reminded me of Avatar: The Last Airbender, which is one of my favorite shows of all time, and with a beautiful ending that, honest to God, had me in tears, man. Even though I do not regret spending $30 on Disney Plus, I would have loved to have seen this movie theater because, man, Raya and the Last Dragon, this movie was awesome in every sense of the word. Number 9. Like with Raya and the Last Dragon, this was another film that I walked into not knowing what to expect at all, even though I did watch a trailer. But man, how awesome was Nobody? If you're to look at Nobody just at the premise, I can understand why you may think that it feels a lot like John Wick. But trust me when I say this, guys, if you haven't seen it, I mean, seriously, have you not seen Nobody? This movie kicks so much ass. Bob Odenkirk in this movie. Oh my God, is he so good. Now, we all knew that Bob Odenkirk was a great dramatic actor from Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad, but here he gets to flex his action muscles. No pun intended right there. God, what an action star he is. There are so many fun and brutal action sequences in this movie. What got me more than anything else was how great the story was. And then there's that ending. The ending might as well be another version of Home Alone, but with the style of a John Wick action film. And given how this film ends, I would love to see a continuation, or heck, if possible, a crossover with John Wick. Can you imagine that? At my number 8 spot is a film that every time someone brought this particular film up, I just kept saying, guys, the film doesn't exist. It is just a big rumor that the film made up. What we have is what we have. But then I saw Zack Snyder's Justice League, and my God, I am so happy that this film exists. I should say, I did enjoy Justice League. I'm not calling it Justice League because that film is called Justice League for what that guy did to it. I'm just so happy for Zack Snyder, for all the bullshit that he went through after all this time. He got to finally make the film that he wanted to make with his vision. I'm happy for the guy. Zack Snyder's Justice League shows that when a studio doesn't mess with the director's vision, what we can get is pretty damn awesome. Every single character in this film not only got the fleshed out arcs that they deserved, the story was incredible. Steppenwolf was so much better here. I mean, compared to that guy. It breaks my heart knowing that we're most likely not going to get a Justice League Part 2 and a Part 3, because given the story details that I have read, we could have had something special, but Warner Brothers, and the words of Angry Joe, roll it. You done fucked it up! What we have here is a sprawling horror epic that was definitely more than worth the wait, and also one more time, for autumn. Number 7. There are 2 words that I'd use to describe my number 7. Holy shit. Saint Maud. Holy shit. What an electrifying movie this was. When A24 gets together with the psychological horror or thriller genre, my God, I would say for about 95% of the time, they make gold. Even more so knowing that this is the directorial debut of Rose Glass, who I want to see more from her, because my God, what a great first movie this was. Morfydd Clark in this movie is so good. I've listened to the musical score ever since I saw this film, and I have not gotten out of my head. I love horror films, but I love it even more so when a horror film transcends out of the genre. In this case, when it comes to Saint Maud, being a psychological drama that shifts into an unsettling nightmare by the end, especially about the final shot. Not the final scene, the final shot, which was one of the greatest jump scares I have seen in recent memories. For a while, it was in my top 5. Hell, it was even my top 3 at one point. But of course, as you can imagine, I saw more films and knocked it down to this spot, but I still love this movie nonetheless. God, what a movie this was. Number 6. As you all know, Edgar Wright's one of my favorite directors of all time. So, as you all can imagine, when I found out he was making his first legit psychological thriller, I was hyped as all hell. And man, Last Night in Soho delivered, and then some. Is there a genre out there that this man cannot do? He's done zombie films, cop films, alien invasion films, a sort of action musical, an amazing comic film, my favorite comic film of all time to this day, and now a psychological thriller. Thomas and Mackenzie in the film was great. Anya Taylor-Joy, my number 1 crush. All joking aside, Anya Taylor-Joy is absolutely incredible in the film. It looks absolutely amazing, and the soundtrack is awesome. One of the things that I absolutely loved about Last Night in Soho is how Edgar Wright explores a character that is so romanticized about a certain decade that they may not see the ugly underbelly of that decade. How Edgar Wright explores the psychological horror aspect of that thing in this movie, absolutely brilliant. I thought it was going to go one certain way, but then Edgar Wright takes it into a certain direction, and I was already loving where the film was going. But then when he takes this turn, I went, oh my God, this is amazing. What a payoff in the end. What a hell of a track record, man. Number 5. Coming up onto my top 5 favorite films of 2021, you will know that these particular films got me on a whole other level. Coincidentally, coming out number 5 is number 5 in this particular franchise, or actually this part of a franchise, and man, what a finale that No Time to Die was. You know what blows my mind, guys? Casino came out in 2006. 15 years ago. I was 14 when that movie came out. 14! I'm 29 now. Time, what the hell? I remember back in 2006 when Daniel Craig introduced himself as the new James Bond and everyone was going like, that's our new Bond? What? Funny how those tables have turned and everyone, or I should say almost everybody, well the majority of the world, has just embraced Daniel Craig as what I say, the best Bond since Sean Connery. I absolutely love Casino Royale. Didn't love Quantum of Solace. Love Skyfall, very man Spectre. So as you all can imagine, when they were making a 5th and final film for Daniel Craig, I was thinking, okay guys, you need to stick that landing. Cary Fukunaga came in and directed the shit out of this movie. And not only did they deliver one hell of a finale, but they stuck the landing and then some. Bittersweet as can be knowing that this is Daniel Craig's 5th and final time playing Bond, but man, well done, Daniel Craig. What a run you gave. What a run. Number 4. At my number 4 spot is my favorite horror film of the year, and that is A Quiet Place Part 2. I love the original A Quiet Place. As a matter of fact, it's one of my favorite horror films of the last decade. So knowing that they're making a Part 2, the hype was very high for this one. Part 2 had a pretty high bar to climb because of how great the original was. But I gotta tell you guys, I personally think that Part 2 is as good, if not better, than Part 1. How John Krasinski keeps certain things intact from the original film, but expands upon certain things, expanding the scope and the scale of the film for Part 2 without going bigger for the sake of it. Part 2 is scarier than the original, it's more tense than the original film, it's more emotional, it's more heartfelt. The opening sequence of A Quiet Place Part 2 is by far my favorite opening sequence from a movie this year. Honestly, got A Quiet Place Part 2 might just have my favorite edit sequence of the entire year, which is the dog sequence. If you guys have seen that sequence, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. I firmly believe that down the road in the future, A Quiet Place Part 2 will go down as one of the best horror sequels of all time. At my number 3 spot is The Green Knight. I am obsessed with King Arthur lore. I love the stories, I love the history, I love everything about that lore. When it comes to a good King Arthur film, when was the last time we actually got a good, let alone great King Arthur film? Probably Excalibur for that matter. I have been waiting for a King Arthur lore film, a good one at that, for so many years of my life, and The Green Knight gave me that. A24 coming in swinging hot, and dang did they hit a home run with this film. And honest to God, guys, I think this is my favorite A24 film now. No joke. This film was cerebral, it was enchanting in the best ways possible, it was visually stunning, the music of the film is absolutely gorgeous. Dev Patel as Sir Gawain, absolutely loved his journey. A story about finding yourself, the legacy that you leave behind, finding courage, honor, especially knowing that the destination doesn't give you that, but it's the journey that you go on, and with everything you acquire, that essentially builds you up to face your ultimate destiny, or your ultimate fate, I should say. That ending montage, that final 10 minutes. Wow. Number 2. Coming up onto my top 2 favorite films of 2021. I love my number 2 and my number 1 almost equally. I thought for a very long time my number 1 and number 2 were locked, but I had to really think. My number 2 favorite film of 2021 is Dune Part 1. I loved Dune. Dune blew my mind. I saw it in an advanced screening, I saw it opening night, and I saw it again when it came out again in IMAX theaters. I love this film, but I don't know what it was. Even after I've seen it, there was something about it that just, it wasn't quite my number 1 for some reason. What Denis Villeneuve has done with this film is nothing short of extraordinary. As an audio and a visual experience, this movie was sensory overload, but in a good way. It's clear that he understands Dune. The film isn't a game changer. I don't think it is, at least. But for what Denis Villeneuve does to this film in adapting this source material is nothing short of, like I said, extraordinary. There is one scene that every time I've seen it that does slow it down a little bit. Another part of the reason as to why it's not my number one is because really, if you think about it, it's not a complete film. Knowing everything that Denis said in part one, I cannot wait to see how it all explodes with part two, which Denis describes as a cinematic party. I absolutely love Dune part one. Cannot wait for part two.
It's number one.
As I'm about to talk about my number one, my heart is pounding, but in so much excitement. Y'all may be wondering, Austin, what the fuck, man? Dune Part 1's our number one? I thought for certain it was. Trust me, I thought it was too. When I saw that film, I thought immediately, yes, this is my number one. But as time went on, still, I love the film. But I had to follow my heart and my gut. And both of those things were saying, dude, yes, you love the film, but let's be real. It's not your number one. But then, when I really thought about it, my number one, my heart went back to one particular film, and that film is The Suicide Squad. I cannot tell you all how much I adore The Suicide Squad. No other film this year gave me the joy, the laughs, and the emotion, especially the rewatch value that The Suicide Squad gave me. From the moment that this film started to the ending credits, this guy had a big ass smile throughout his entire face. I was in cinematic joy watching this film. It gave me everything that I wanted and more. James Gunn is one of my favorite writer-directors of all time. Super, Slither, Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't love Volume 2 as much as I love Volume 1, but I love Guardians of the Galaxy and Super. The Suicide Squad, I think it's my favorite film from James Gunn. Idris Elba, John Cena, Joel Kinnaman, Margot Robbie, Sylvester Stallone, David Dastmalchian, Daniela, oh my god, who plays Ratcatcher 2, I absolutely loved her. Even down to the smaller guys, like Pete Davidson, Nathan Fillion, Flula Borg, Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. Every character, this film is stacked with characters, yet every character has a moment to shine, no matter if they're in there for minutes or hours, or if they're in there for just a matter of a couple of seconds. The cinematography is gorgeous, vibrant, explosive with color. John Murphy's original score is amazing, not to mention the film's soundtrack is so good. All I wanted was just a movie full of pure batshit insanity and just a film that is bonkers but also full of heart. When you think this film has reached the full amount of insanity? No. It's only just getting started. The third act of the film is one of the most amazing rides I have seen in the third act of a comic book film in a long time. It's gory as can be. It's fucking hilarious. Out of all the vulgarity, out of the blood and gore, and out of all of the hilarity, at the center is a tender and a big heart. I could not be happier for James Gunn. And knowing that he's back making Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, I can't wait to see how he ends that trilogy. But guys, I absolutely love The Suicide Squad, and without a doubt, it is my favorite film of 2021. That's gonna wrap it up for my top 10 favorite films of 2021 and the end of videos for my channel. Can you believe it's the end of 2021, guys? It's absolutely insane. Thank you all for watching my channel throughout this year. I do apologize that there wasn't as much content as there has been the previous couple of years, but again, life has been insanely busy, but I'm just glad I got to see enough films to talk about for this year's list. And I just realized, holy crap, 10 years. It's been 10 years since this channel has been up. Thank you so much for not only watching my videos this year, but for the previous 10 years I've been on YouTube. It means everything to me. Please comment down below, let me know what were your top 10 favorite films of 2021? And also, let me know a couple of your honorable mentions as well. Let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat. So if y'all want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links in the username in the description below. I hope y'all enjoyed my top 10 favorite films of 2021. If so, please hit that like button, also subscribe, and don't forget that notification bell for whenever my latest video goes live. If you guys want to see my previous 2 videos, please click on the right there or right there. And of course, until my first video of 2022, I'll see you guys next time, and Happy New Year, guys.